Let me try something else.
Last year, Apple TV's series Mythic Quest lifted our spirits with a Zoom quarantine episode that captured what many of us were dealing with.
Hey, I see you. You see me?
And it did so with a wildly creative flair that inspired us with a sense that we're all in this together. The goal for season 2 was to put the pandemic in the rearview mirror, says star and creator Rob McElhenney.
And we felt like people were really going to be looking towards their entertainment, certainly their comedies, not necessarily move completely past the last year, yet looking more towards the future optimistically.
Actor and executive producer David Hornsby says they created a special bonus episode called Everlight,
which can address and kind of bridge us back into a normal, fun office comedy so we can all kind of get back to normal.
So they tried to write episodes that had little to do with the pandemic.
That said, we were shooting right in the middle of the pandemic, and we had to be very cognizant of the fact that it could have been potentially very dangerous. In fact, it was very dangerous, and that's why we had very strict protocols all the way through the process.
So I've been tested for COVID over 60 times in order to do comedy. I didn't think that my comedy career would lead to so much nasal swabbing, but here we are.
Mythic Quest writer and co-creator Megan Gantz says she never expected a comedy show about the gaming industry needing to hire an epidemiologist.
Yep. We had epidemiologists, we had doctors, we had people standing around with 6-foot poles that would just walk around and be like, you're too close, you know? And everything changed. I mean, even little things. I was saying that I didn't realize how nice it was before when I have a joke on set that an alts for a line, and I could just whisper it to Rob and David and get a second read on whether it was funny. Now I just had to shout it out like across a room, which is a very vulnerable place to be in. No amount of masking and protection protects you from the silence that occurs when you shout out a joke that nobody likes.
The character of Brad, played by actor Danny Pudi, proved well suited to a pandemic workplace.
I think some people were saying, to me, would it be difficult for you to return to work? And as Brad, and I was like, in some ways, Brad is built for this because he is not giving high fives at work. He's not hugging anyone. He is very comfortable in his own space with his hands in his pockets.
Mythic Quest looks behind the scenes of creating an epic multiplayer video game. So while epidemiologists provide COVID information, Ubisoft, an actual video game company that's also a show producer, is on hand to provide a different kind of expertise.
They're like being on a medical show and having a doctor on set.
We make sure that we speak to people who work in the industry, specifically either at Ubisoft or various other studios, because we want to make sure that it feels authentic to the gaming experience. And so it's great to work with them. They give us access to so many different things that we would never have access to. And mostly they create a certain level of authenticity that we're desperately trying to recreate.
Charlotte Nickdow plays Poppy, the game's lead engineer.
Yeah, it's very helpful having one of our producers, Jason Altman, on set most days because I have to say a lot of technical jargon. So I feel like we got a lot of takes of me getting halfway through talking about something and then being like, Jason, was that right?
Writing dialogue for Poppy is very challenging. In the scripts, whenever we need Poppy to say what it is she's working on, I just write the word haptics, haptics, haptics over and over in bold, and then the Ubisoft people go in and fill that with actual tech language that makes sense.
And when the series needs to actually show what the characters are creating, they have a real gaming company on board to help produce results.
We devise really weird and wonderful things to happen in the video game, and then actual artists build these moments, have a person digging with a shovel and making crude shapes out of it. Somebody spent a lot of time making that actually work. It's just been the most fantastic partnership, and they are there in the writer's room all the time, and they're really helping us guide the show.
Mythic Quest may focus on gaming, but it captures universal truths about both office life and living in a world still dealing with a pandemic. And it does both with clever humor. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.